What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Riakeem Reviews. Today, people, we are going to be reviewing a film called Sonic the Hedgehog. It's a 2020 film based on the video game character that we all know and love, Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't know what I'm doing. No, Sonic the Hedgehog is a fantastic movie, and I don't know if it's because video game movies just tend to not do that well, or if I just personally really like seeing the character do well on screen, but I had a good time with this movie. As usual, my channel has spoilers, so if you haven't seen Sonic the Hedgehog, I definitely recommend you go check it out, and then come back to this video. But if you don't care and you haven't seen the movie, keep on watching. We're gonna jump right on into it. Now, for me, the best part about Sonic the Hedgehog was Sonic the Hedgehog. I have my little tinfoil hat on, my little conspiracy theory, right? I know there's probably facts and evidence out there that I don't know, that I haven't actually dug into, but just like as a casual consumer who's done no research at all, I don't believe they ever made the movie with the bad Sonic. Hear me out. I think this movie was supposed to come out sometime last year, and we got all those like press released photos of the ugly, terrible looking hedgehog it wasn't Sonic, that's what it wasn't. But we got that picture, and then, you know, fans and audiences everywhere complained, like, this Sonic is ugly, we don't want this Sonic. So of course the studio went back to development, and as I said, of course, that never happens, right? They made some changes to the character design of Sonic the Hedgehog, and he looks much more faithful to the character. As a result, he looks fantastic. Now, my conspiracy theory is that he was always looking good, but releasing those bad images and telling everyone that the movie was going to come out earlier than what it was sort of drummed up some conversation for this movie. Now, a lot of people who, you know, weren't going to see this movie when it came out a year ago probably were more interested in seeing it now, you know. I do feel like if you are one of those people that complained about the image of Sonic a year ago, you gotta go and see this movie. So I forget who it was online who said this, but someone said this very funny. There was like one tweet equals one ticket. That's pretty funny. But the movie, you guys, the movie itself is really good. It's an innocent family. I think the movie is like PG. It might not even be PG-13. I could see it, you know, a case made for either way. Like if I had small children, I'd let them see this movie, no problem, and I'd see it with them again and enjoy it. The CGI on Sonic's character was fantastically done. It's difficult sometimes with CGI films to believe, or films that have CGI animation, to believe that the characters that are CGI are real. You know, you have those sort of cartoon or animated character mixed in with real characters, not necessarily like puppets, but you see that a lot with stuff like Space Jam or Roger Rabbit. Like, where does that line, you know, begin and end? And in this movie, once you sort of get into it, after like the first 4 or 5 minutes, I was in it. You know, I never thought, oh, he looks like a creature that doesn't belong in the world with these human people. So that didn't bother me. I guess that means for me the CGI was well done throughout. I never like was snatched out of my suspension of disbelief. But the character was endearing. It's kind of a sad movie at some elements of it. They really touch on those aspects of loneliness with a character that has to hide away from society, or so he thinks he has to hide away from society, but he actually doesn't. But what is Sonic about? If you've ever seen a Sonic story or played a Sonic video game before, this is inspired by a lot of those elements, but really it kind of does its own thing while also keeping those influences fresh, right? This isn't your Sonic Heroes. You know, it's not your City Escapes must keep on moving ahead. You know, it's not your Sonic X or, you know, your go, 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 go. There's been a lot of Sonic shows. I grew up watching this one Sonic show where he played a guitar or drums or something, and he had like a brother and a sister. And of course, I've already mentioned Sonic Hero. You know, there's been a ton of games. There's the original Sonic games. There's the remakes. There's that 2006, I believe. Terrible 360 generation game that don't get that one. And then you had some remakes or like some episode games that came out very recently, or you know, in the past few years that I thought were pretty good. So Sonic has had stories in the past and has translated well, at the very least, to animated, I won't say cinema, but like television and stuff. So it's worked out. But this movie, what happens to Sonic? Why do I think that it works? It starts off with Sonic. He's in the I think it's called the Green Hill Zone, but he ends up teleporting to Green Hills, like a small town in some small city, and he meets this without giving away too much. I won't say everything. He meets this small town cop who's getting ready to get the big promotion, and of course these two people come together. Some government forces are hunting down Sonic. The small town police chief, I think he's a police chief. He helps Sonic. He helps Sonic in the movie, and they defeat the government agency that's trying to catch them. And I thought this movie was just a bucket of laughs. One of the best parts of the movie, if not talking about the CGI animation of the Sonic character, is freaking Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. Jim Carrey came to work. He's not how I envisioned Dr. Robotnik acting in like the cartoons. Of course, they give you that sort of portrayal, but in like the video games, you don't really see him talking all that much. He's this robust character that's got this really long, weird mustache, and he has all these robots. I was really interested to see what Jim Carrey was going to bring to this character, and he did not disappoint. The physical acting, the facial acting that Jim Carrey has the ability to do, the slapstick humor, and just the overall presence that he brings to this character. I cannot wait to see what he does in sequels of this character. The movie's doing pretty well at the box office, so it's going to get a sequel. I want more Jim Carrey. More. How do you like it? But he's so good in this movie. James Marsden, I believe is the guy's name, who plays opposite of Sonic. He and Tika Sumpter play the human. I don't want to do air quotes. They play the human couple that Sonic sort of meets, and they help him along his journey. Mostly James Marsden. There's always like a human companion that goes along with the CGI animal character, right? The one that sort of is our connection to the movie, like our insight into the craziness, because he's like us, right? He's normal. He just wants normal things, and then wacky stuff ensues. He does, he works. He doesn't steal any spotlight away from Sonic. But what I like about how they do him, you have those movies like, you have characters like Dave from Alvin and the Chipmunks. You even have this character from some old Rabbit movie from a few years back. But those sort of fish out of water stories when the CGI character is taken from their world and placed into the human world, and then the human character has to find them. Usually the human characters don't have a whole lot to do or a lot of impact or character growth. They just sort of exist to sort of serve as a additional viewpoint from our perspective into this crazy world. What would the Chipmunks movies be without us understanding Dave's interaction with them? And it's no different here, except I found myself caring a little bit more about this character portrayed by James Marsden. I forget his name, but I found myself caring about him, at least while watching the movie. Is he going to leave this town? What's going to happen to the town? This other cop, he can't run a town by himself or, help the town by himself. He's clearly not competent enough. We see him kind of coming to his own in the end. They make little nods that he, can, work with the town effectively. But we sort of start the movie by caring about this character, and that was really well done. Tika Sumpter's in this movie. Tika Sumpter was in some movies that I've seen very recently, actually. I want to say the movie's called Nobody's Fool. It's with her and Tiffany Haddish, and Tika Sumpter plays not the titular character. She plays the protagonist in that movie, who is catfished. She's in that, and she's in some other things too. I want to say she's a voice in this show I watch. It's like a sci-fi cartoon that didn't come on like any other regular streaming service. I forget what it's called. It's one where there's like the science fiction hero, and he has that little alien blob. What is that show called? I can't remember, but Natasha Rothwell is in this, and she is funny every time we see her on screen in anything, really. But in this, top form. Absolutely loved her. There's a scene where, the police are after James Marsden's character, and they're hiding out in her apartment. And they have to tie her up, and she's a total hoot. But yeah, people, I don't really have too much more to say about Sonic the Hedgehog. It was a short 80-minute, 90-minute film. I think it was. I don't think it was 2 hours. Definitely a recommended watch by me. And I think that this means good things for video game movies. We have The Witcher doing well on Netflix. We have Detective Pikachu doing really well in the box office. And you have Sonic doing even better than Detective Pikachu. Not too many franchises can beat Pokemon in anything. So I'm really happy about that. But I would love to see more video game movies do well in the box office. Maybe there'll be a Sonic sequel. We do know at the end of this movie, Tails comes in, and I absolutely loved that moment in the movie. So definitely hope that this inspires some more good video game movies to come out. Maybe Sega becomes, who knows, maybe Sega can become like this big movie franchise powerhouse with the Sonic movies kicking it off. Maybe they'll do what Marvel does and what Nintendo don't. It's an old 90s joke. But maybe we'll get a Golden Axe movie, a Streets of Rage movie, a Shining Force movie. I'm just saying, there's a lot of potential. He understands me, it's a lot of potential. But thank you guys so much for watching my review of Sonic the Hedgehog. Definitely go check that one out.